Didn't really get to a lot of topics we wanted to yesterday, so we're doing a Monday video. We got a lot to cover today. We got some MLB spring training stuff to cover. NHL playoffs just 2-3 weeks away, so that's definitely to cover. And NFL free agencies and trades that we have not covered, such as Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Nick Foles. Some big names going all over the place. Deshaun Jackson. We've yet to talk about it. We're really excited to get into him today on Monday, March 18th.
Yeah, let's get ready right into it, Nick. Let's start off with the NHL. This is something quick. We have, as of right now, you are still alive in the playoff hunt as the Flyers, as they somehow defeated us. Well, not really somehow, because that's typical Penguin faction. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in third place right now in the Metro, only three points behind the Capitals and the Islanders. So it's still a very it's a very realistic task that they can jump ahead in the next couple of games. It'll be tough. The Flyers are in fourth. The fourth out of the wild card, just 2 games out with Carolina and Columbus in the East. Nick, where do you see the Flyers ending up right now at the end of March? Because it's a very crucial month for both the Penguins
Not
and
in
the
the playoffs. That's what I can tell you. They only have 9 games left, and they're 6 points out of the playoffs, 10 points out of the division. Not going to get in the division, three teams. But the wild card, only 6 points out of the wild card, and they got a big crucial game tomorrow night versus the Canadiens. They beat the Canadiens, they could be back in this thing. The Canadiens are the team ahead of them by 3 points at the moment, so that's gonna be a big game for the Flyers. And they also get to play the Islanders this week, and they play Chicago. So and they've taken care of the Islanders this year pretty good, and the Blackhawks are a struggling team. So they could easily go 2-1 this week. I mean, and if they go 2-1 or 3-0, they're still in this thing. Let me just tell you. Um, the most important thing for them right now is Columbus and Montreal. Montreal, they're getting the opportunity to take care of Montreal themselves. Columbus is going to Calgary, one of the best teams in the league, and then Edmonton and Vancouver, two of the better teams or two of the worst teams in the league. But hopefully, Columbus loses tomorrow night in Calgary because that would be very helpful. And then Montreal not only has to come here to Philadelphia, but then they have a home game versus the Islanders, which should be tough for them, and then a home game versus the Sabres, which they should win. But the point is the Flyers are not out of it, but I don't see them making it. I think they're going to be like the Panthers were last year, a point out, which is literally what the Panthers were last year, 1 point out.
Yeah, so that's for the Flyers right now. As the Penguins, we are, like I said, in third place in the Metro, 88 points, so it's very makeable. Last night Penguins did lose to the Flyers 2-1 in overtime, a game they should have won, giving up the tying goal in regulation with about 18 seconds left, and giving up the game-winning goal with 3 seconds left to go in overtime. That win definitely would have helped, picked up a couple points, but they did pick up 1 point, which did help them in the standings. They play a very
But they have
crucial.
a tough week this week.
They do, like I said, yeah. They're playing a crucial game tomorrow at Carolina. That's a 7 o'clock start time. That's a game they need to win. Then they go down to probably the hardest place to play in the NHL, especially during playoff time at the Predators. That's a game that they're probably going to need to win. And then Saturday they got the Stars. Next Monday they got the Rangers, and then they got the Predators again at home. And then they finish off the month and the season at the Hurricanes. So it's going home to the
Oh, no,
Hurricanes.
they end the season. No, they still have 3 games after that.
Oh, so yeah, sorry, end the month home to the Hurricanes, and we still got the April games, which is going to be very crucial for the Penguins. So this is a team because they play the Red Wings twice in a home and home, and then they home end off at their home to the Rangers. So it's a very if you look at the schedule, if everything goes right, we have a shot at the 2 or not the 1 seed, but the 2 seed in the Metro. But knowing the Penguins, they're gonna have to play perfectly, and I haven't seen them play consistently good all year. So it's gonna be a tough task ahead of them if they want to get up higher in the Metro.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, this is a stressful time of the year for everybody in the NHL. One of those teams that it's not very stressful for is the Lightning, as they've clinched their playoff spot for approximately 10 days now. They just beat. They're up on. They're tied with the Coyotes right now as they enter the second period. No other big games today. But then again, tomorrow Penguins play, Flyers play, Islanders play, Capitals play, um, Columbus plays. So almost everybody plays, and the Capitals have a very easy game against the Devils. Islanders a tough game versus the Bruins, which they probably should lose. To be honest with you, Islanders have not been a team. They've been struggling recently, which makes me think it's going to be a first round exit for the Islanders, especially if they face the Penguins, and then the Penguins with a very tough game in Carolina.
Yeah, and like for the Lightning, they have They've been very good. They're only 55-13 right now. It's a great 114 points, like you said. Definitely going to be the one seed in the East. They got a medium schedule ending off the year. They have the Capitals, they have the Hurricanes, the Bruins, the Capitals again, and then they have 4 games in April, which will be very good. So I think it's a bit of a cruise for them. They're
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think if you were in the playoff race, you would say they're fucked, but they've
mhm.
thankfully clinched their spot because that is a very tough schedule
If
they
Pittsburgh,
have.
yeah, if we put a Pittsburgh or Philadelphia in with the schedule of the Lightning and where they are now, I would easily say that neither of the teams would make it and they would lose almost all their games.
Yeah,
Just
the rest of their games, besides one, so out of their 9 games left, only one of them is against a non-playoff team. So,
hmm
and it's on the road. So, I mean, it's a very tough way to end the year, and they end the year on 4 straight road games, which isn't easy either.
no, but it's Lightning. They do have 114 points, and they've responded well to adversity this whole year. So I don't see why not that they can't end off the season strong and make a huge, very deep postseason run. Because they have the depth to do it and they have the talent to do it. And as it looks right now, the East hasn't been very strong. I mean, you got Boston obviously, and you have Washington and New York, but other than Tampa
And I
Bay,
mean, I think honestly, I mean, it's just it's your usual year, but the Lightning are such an outlier that it looks when you look at the points, everybody else looks really weak. But honestly, everybody else is really strong. It's just the Lightning are so much better
better,
than everybody else. I
yeah.
mean, I think the Lightning are a much better team than the Penguins, but the
Oh yeah,
Capitals, the Capitals, the Islanders, the Leafs, the Bruins, all within the Lightning sphere of a 6 or 7 game set. Penguins also probably a 6 game set. The other ones could even stretch it to 7.
yeah, that is very true. And it depends. I think the question now is going to move on to if the Lightning do make it to the Eastern Conference Final, who will they play? Because you could easily say that the Washington can't really play 7 games. You can definitely say that the Islanders aren't looking so hot. What would they do? So you could maybe say not it won't even be Boston, you know, so because they won't be able to play them. But it'll be very interesting to see what would happen. So you'd have to be Columbus, Pittsburgh, Washington, and New York, and I can't see
Or
them
Carolina.
or Carolina, and I can't see them any of these teams lasting 7 games against a very good Lightning team.
Yes, but when you think about all those years the Capitals completely dominated the NHL and then had a first or second round exit, it really makes you think about what could happen to Tampa Bay, especially if they have to face Boston or Toronto in the second round.
Yeah, it's very tough, but I think they'll be able to do it just because of what they've shown all season. So that's Western Conference. Not much to talk about there. In the Pacific, Calgary, San Jose, Vegas, top 3 in Central, Winnipeg, Nashville, St. Louis. So it's a typical West Coast uh, drama out there. But that's probably going to leave it there, just as we'll get to see in the next couple of months, the next couple of weeks, who will be a good wild card and a good playoff contention between the Penguins. As of right now, there's no. I think the Penguins is going to be a hit and miss team. They could easily win a lot of their games and finish off the season strong, or they can drop out of the playoffs right now. It's hit or miss for them, and they can go either way for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But moving on to the NFL, a lot of trades, a lot of different stuff happening. Especially we got a lot of OBJ, a lot of franchise players with OBJ and Antonio Brown. Brown going to the Ravens, OBJ going to the Browns. Nick, where should we start?
I say we start with the Pennsylvania team as always, and there's other things in Pennsylvania that we're going to need to talk about. But AB, let's start with AB, the big one. He goes to Oakland. So Millan, this is your guy, and you should probably cover this.
Yeah, and we've known for a long time AB's wanted out. That's something he's been exposing the Steelers. He's been exposing Ben, and I've been asked a lot, did you like this trade? I think the losers in this trade is definitely the Steelers by asking the picks that they asked. I'm not saying that the Steelers should deserve a first-round pick for AB or 2 first-round picks for AB because that's really too much to ask for. But something better than a 5th rounder and a 2nd rounder, I think that's a little bit too easy on a guy who's been, other than Tom Brady, I think he's the second hardest working player in the NFL, and it shows in his results in the games. And AB got exactly what he wanted. He never wanted to win a championship in Pittsburgh. He never said that. He just wanted to be number 1, and he wanted his money. And he went to a team that he will definitely be number 1, and he's getting good money there. So for him, he's definitely winning. And then with Le'Veon Bell again, he just wanted his money's worth, and he's going to the Jets where he's going to get his money's worth there. They're happy. I'm happy, and I think this is a very bold statement for me to say. I think we might play a little bit better now that we don't have AB or Le'Veon Bell because there's no diva in the locker room in AB, and there's no maybe Le'Veon Bell is coming back. Maybe he's because he left his house in Florida. Maybe stuff like that. There's no going to be rumors. We know the team. We know it's set. And now we can focus on playing football and trying to win championships like we used to been doing because we have the talent. I think Big Ben's declining. He has a couple more years left, just like Brady. Juju's gonna have to fill a huge role now with AB gone. I think he'll be able to do it. He's turned into the number one receiver with the past couple of weeks to the end of the season. So I think this will be a very interesting Steelers team to watch, especially how their defense shapes up. Since the Steelers did acquire a guy from the from the Rams. Sorry, I'm blanking on what team. The Rams. They signed Mark Barron, a linebacker. Who we need? We need linebackers. We need guys to. We play New England, and we don't play Kansas City, but we do play New England. We need a fast guy who can play on Gronk. Last year, Vince Williams did play well, but he's not as fast. So that we exposed Gronk a lot. But that's mainly for on the Pittsburgh side of the ball. Nick, where do you want to go next? What team?
Well, before we get to OBJ, Philadelphia Eagles, two big moves involving the organization, both free agents. The first one is the Philadelphia Eagles acquired Deshaun Jackson, former Philadelphia Eagle, 33 years old now, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had showed obvious interest in Philadelphia since the trade deadline of this past season, had said he wanted to come back here, had said that since Chip Kelly's out, I want back in. A lot of those guys from those teams, LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, very anti-Chip Kelly. Now the Eagles got a new guy in at the helm, as they have had for a little bit, but now they want back. So Deshaun Jackson has said, "Hey, I want back to Philly." In his words, he thinks it's one of the best atmospheres to play in football. He likes the fan base. He likes the organization. He likes the personnel. He likes Carson Wentz, which is obviously the most important thing. And for a 33-year-old, he's still quite fast. So a very nice addition there to the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver core, which you could say was quite depleted at some times last year, quite thin at some times last year. So that was a very nice addition to the team. But with that addition, they lost Philadelphia Eagles' all-time best quarterback, Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick. They lost him. Very one of the saddest things in Philadelphia. You could just feel the gloom in the street. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I could feel the gloom in the street of Philadelphia when that happened. A lot of people were sad about it. He went to Jacksonville to replace Blake Bortles, who's now going to become Jared Goff's backup out in L.A. But I don't honestly see Nick Foles succeeding in Jacksonville because he has proven in the past that he cannot really succeed outside of Philadelphia. I'm just saying, he's never had a great year outside of Philadelphia. Look at all those years in St. Louis, Kansas City. Yeah, nothing like winning a Super Bowl against greatest quarterback of all time. So I'm just saying, in the span of about 25 minutes, a half an hour, they lost one of the biggest stars in Philadelphia Eagles history and regained the biggest Giants killer in Philadelphia Eagles history. So one medium-sized subtraction, one big addition. So big day there for the Eagles.
I don't like Blake Bortles going to the backing up the Rams, backing up Goff, because he's good enough to be. We've seen him. He's been good enough to play on his own. I think he could have gone somewhere else. He could have easily gone to the Dolphins if they didn't sign him for Fitzpatrick. They could have gone to the Cardinals. Somewhere where they need help. Definitely not a backup because he's like.
I don't know the last time you watched Blake Bortles, but he is not at all of NFL starting caliber whatsoever.
Well, the year they made the AFC Championship game, he definitely played well that year. This year, he obviously had a bad.
But you have to admit that he had the best defense in football that year. He had Allen Robinson as his number one wide receiver. He had one of the most talented. Any quarterback could have won with that team. He just happened to be the quarterback there, and he blew the game against New England nonetheless.
Oh yeah.
So definitely not of starting caliber. Arizona's probably going to get Kyler Murray in the draft. Plus, they already have Josh Rosen, so Arizona's in. Miami had signed Ryan Fitzpatrick yesterday, so they're out of discussion. And I don't even think Miami wanted him.
Miami didn't want him, no. You could argue that maybe Buffalo needed one, but they're set with the QB.
Buffalo has maybe the best quarterback of his class. I totally forget his name. Josh Allen.
No, Josh Allen.
That kid is a beast. watch out. I'm telling you, that kid will be a Hall of Famer one day. He is amazing. So they definitely don't need him. There is no place for him to become a starter in this league. And to play for a winning team in the Rams is just a plus for him instead of going to like the AAF or something, because that was
Oh yeah.
probably where he was going if he wasn't becoming a backup somewhere.
One thing I did see, and I was really pissed off about, is this: the Lions signed Jesse James. You got rid of him. That's a thing that I just didn't get because we have Vance McDonald and we had Jesse James. That's a two really good tight end core right there. But now we're having Vance McDonald and Xavier Grimble. Grimble hasn't been played well. He's never done well in Pittsburgh. He should have gone. I like Jesse James. I thought he's been great for the Steelers. He left, so that was heartbreaking in my opinion. Um, Other news: Cardinals signed Terrell Suggs. I would have really loved to get Terrell Suggs. I know he's on the Ravens, and I should really hate his ass, but I like him. I like him as a defensive player. He's very scary. He terrorizes QBs anywhere. Uh, Saints re-signed Teddy Bridgewater. Saints signed Latavius Murray, so that's going to be a big, huge thing with Kamara, Ingram, and Murray. Um, Other news, just looking. Titans signed Roger Saffold. The Steelers got rid of their offensive player Marcus Gilbert, and it's arguably the Steelers had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, very arguably, but you could easily say that. Redskins acquired Case Keenum, so this is a huge. It's gonna be a very different NFL season next year. But we still got to talk about the big one: OBJ going to the Cleveland Browns. Nick, what do you think of this?
This was the worst deal in Dave Gettleman's GM career. I mean, that was a terrible deal on his part. He gave up OBJ for Jabril Pepper and a few picks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you kidding me right now? OBJ is a generational talent. I don't care if he is a terrible guy in the locker room or whatever. He is a great talent. I mean, we might dive into this topic about, off field, on the field stuff either today or in a future video. Me and Millan have talked about this off the air. But honestly, OBJ should be a number one receiver in New York. They replaced him with Golden Tate. They're getting older and older by the second. And Eli is still the quarterback. What is happening in the middle? How are the Jets the best team playing in MetLife Stadium? Because they honestly are, which is fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have a Giants friend here, and he said, yeah, the defense getting better, but yeah, they're getting better, but still no. You're not gonna get better. You're not gonna go to the playoffs, or make a run for the playoffs. You gotta get rid of Eli. I know it's gonna be hard for you to hear because he's led you to two Super Bowls and won them against the Patriots, but he's old. He's way past his prime. We know that, we've seen it. He can't throw the ball. His offensive line is atrocious. You need to get rid of him. You need to restart on the offensive side of the ball. And getting rid of OBJ did not help one bit because Golden Tate's old, and you can't depend on him at all like you could with OBJ. And I know, yes, OBJ had issues off the field, but still, that's no reason to get rid of him. You could have sat down with him, talked with him, but no, don't get rid of him. That's a terrible idea.
Agree. Definitely agree on your point there.
Johnny Manziel did sign with the AFF. That's early. That really not really big news. Bengals released Vontaze Burfict, and he's a guy that I don't think should have an NFL spot on any roster because he's the Tom Wilson of football.
Yeah, he is definitely a dirty player. And he's been suspended like a million times, but I'm just like, I don't know. He's probably not going to be able to go anywhere because of his suspension record. And if the NFL ever thinks he does anything dirty, it's going to be like 10 games because of his record. So no one's going to want him because he can't really do anything that's not in the rules, because he could be like an automatic 10-game, 15-game suspension because of his past history. So I don't know if he's going to have much more of a future in the NFL.
Yeah, that is very true. Ravens signed Earl Thomas. That's going to be good in their defense. Steelers signed defenseman, cornerback Steven Nelson from the Chiefs. They also got another wide receiver, Dante Moncrief, 2-year deal. Hopefully he'll be well and help us in the wide receiver core. But again, and Kareem Hunt again suspended 8 games for stupid PEDs or something like that, which is really dumb. But I think the Steelers, what they need to do is get their defense, because the reason why they didn't make the playoffs is it was their defense. We were giving up games last end of the season, obviously against the Chargers and against the Saints, giving them up. So get defensive players, and I think we'll be a very set team. But now with no distractions, we'll be able to focus on football. Because when we focus on football, we've seen what happens. We've won Super Bowls. We've done amazing things with this franchise. But that's gonna wrap it up for football. Nick, should we talk about the MLB?
We could also talk about another topic we wanted to talk about, considering a certain controversial play.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm blanking now.
Okay, so I'll remember. So me and you, Millan, yesterday had a topic about Kareem Hunt, Tyreek
Yes.
Hill, Colin Kaepernick, guys that have done things off the field that have led to, and pretty much an ending of, well, not Kareem Hunt, but for Colin Kaepernick, an ending of their career. So I'm gonna let you take this one since you started yesterday.
Yeah, so I basically went up to Nick and I said, man, I don't really see how guys that have beaten their girlfriends and wives can get a job on the NFL roster while Colin Kaepernick can't. Now, I'm not saying Kaepernick. I know Kaepernick is offering wants a lot of money. I know that, but that could be negotiated. What I'm arguing is that he's standing up for what he believes in, and he says this is not the way the country should run. I'm kneeling in protest, and I'm also not saying that kneeling is the correct way. I don't know the correct way. If kneeling's not the correct way, I don't know what it is. But that's politics. I'm gonna leave that out of there. But it's just sports. Definitely, he should definitely not go to the AAF because he's been good. He'll be very rusty when he comes back into the NFL. But there's a lot of teams are gonna need him come in a couple of years, like New England when Brady retires, when Pittsburgh when Roethlisberger retires. You know, we got old quarterbacks. He can even go to the Giants when Eli retires. There's plenty of need for him to go somewhere, and I know he's asking a lot of money. And again, that could obviously be negotiated, because I do think that what he wants is too much.
Oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. Extent, but he's asking for way too much money. He asked the AAF for, I believe, 5-6 million a year when they offer their players a minimum salary of 100,000, 250,000 a year. So he's asking for way over what they give to their players. So he definitely has no career in the AAF, but also he's been offered NFL jobs and he's fucked it up himself, or other people have fucked it up for him. Miami, he fucked it up himself. He made fun of Cubans in the biggest Cuban populated place in the country, Miami. Besides Cuba, the most Cuban populated place in the world. That's retarded. Why would he do that? Because he doesn't give a fuck. Oh, and then when Baltimore was about 2 minutes away from signing him, his girlfriend sent out a tweet calling the owner and the organization a racist organization. Granted, Ray Lewis is a part of every decision, and granted, Ray Lewis is a murderer. He's still a part of every decision. He's still an important part of Baltimore. But again, so even though Ray Lewis is a terrible person to choose for any job, considering he has murdered a human being, doesn't matter. Still, there is a black man as the president of operations. How could there be a racist organization?
Yeah.
So he has messed it up on multiple occasions for himself.
Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, I just what and then another thing that I was arguing too is I don't see how people like Peterson can beat his son and be on a team, or people like Ray Lewis, he beat up his wife, and that's just the start of it. There's many other people who have done that, and they could still be on a team, you know. And he's just been criticized. Like no one criticized Ray Lewis. Like yeah, okay, what you did was disgusting. Or not, yeah, Ray Rice. Sorry. Like what you do obviously was disgusting. That and they left it at that. Now Kaepernick's been kneeling, and he's getting crapped on. He's getting death threats, and he's just doing something that hey, I'm doing when I'm standing up for something. I have the freedom of speech. I'm trying to say that hey, this isn't how this country should be run, and he's just getting crapped on, and no one really cares about people like domestic abuse. That's just something that I just don't get, and I guess this is going to go into politics, which I don't really want to do, because this is a sports channel, and I think sports, I'm going to probably go into politics in this, but I just want to get this out of there. I think sports does a lot of things to our country that people don't really see. Is that we are just so divided in this country where Democrats won't listen to Republicans, Republicans won't listen to Democrats. Whatever they say, they don't do anything. But it's just the one time in sports where they drop everything and you're united for one cause. Doesn't matter what color of skin you are, you're all united together, and to go play for a cause bigger than your personal self. And that's something that's overlooked by especially the NFL and other organizations. That what sports is we're uniting. Same with the military. Um, you're fighting for something that's bigger than yourself. And now Colin Kaepernick's just saying, "Hey, I'm arguing something that I believe in," and he's getting crapped on for that. So that's
Yeah,
just
and here's another point: is that the people in the higher ups of sports, they don't want sports to get mingled with politics.
yeah,
Sports has been mingled with politics since the beginning of professional sports. It just wasn't as big because now we have 24-hour news and social media, so things are a lot more. They become a lot bigger. Um, and also, the thing about the national anthem is that it is supposed to. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but because I was listening, but not truly. But the national anthem is supposed to unite us all,
hmm
which I believe is what you said. And I think when he did that, you can understand where he's coming from, but there's also other ways to do it.
yeah. That's what I said. I said, "What I know what you're doing. You're trying to,
Yeah,
and you have every right to protest the country,
I
but
feel like
kneeling probably isn't the best way to do it."
a better way to have done it would been to make a statement or something, like a public statement, or
Which
maybe.
he did, but he
Yeah,
still
but he did this.
continued the kneeling, which is
He did this, but I'm saying the first thing you do is make a statement.
okay.
You say here's what I believe. I would like to coordinate with the San Francisco and Bay Area police and talk about this issue more, so that we can end violence. You know what I mean? I think that's a way better way to solve this problem.
Yeah, at least
If anything, kneeling for the anthem made it worse,
yeah,
because not only does it not solve your police problem whatsoever, because the police and the national anthem aren't really the same thing, because the police are local government and the national anthem's a federal government thing. Um, it also, you could, as as a divide issue in the military, does it disrespect the people that have fought for your country? That's what this ended up starting, because he decided to do something like this, which again was probably a bad idea from the beginning, but it made him a millionaire, so he can't really be that mad about it.
yeah, and I honestly don't think he cares about the money. I think he just wants his voice to be heard. And I think he did make a slogan. He made commercials and a lot of stuff. I think they weren't taken as seriously as he probably hoped. And I think that plays part to the kneeling. I think if we didn't kneel, then that would have been better, and he probably would have been taken more seriously about this. Um, but yeah, I do agree on your points. If kneeling is not the answer, then maybe we'll find something else. There's other ways to do it. I don't know the answer. There's many other ways that could be answered in a political video that we don't do because we are not politicians. Well, that's just a quick video that we want to upload with you guys. We're probably going to make some more because I'm off for this week and then I go back to school. Podcast, we are going to figure out something to talk about. There's probably going to be some big sports news coming up. We do have the NCAA tournament, so we'll give you a recap on that. I'm going to try to get down to some games on Thursday for the XL, for the March Madness tournament and see Nova and Florida State. But that's going to wrap it up, and we'll see you guys next time.